Hey guys, JP, and today I'm bringing you a game that was played in 1939 at the Buenos Aires Olympiad between Jens Enevoldsen on the white pieces and Alexander Alekhine on the black pieces. Obviously, Alekhine is the much more famous player between these two, but Jens Enevoldsen was he wasn't a nobody. He was a Danish chess master, and um, he was pretty good. But Alexander Alekhine was world champion material, so a little bit outmatched. But it's nice to see, we will extrapolate some lessons from this game nonetheless. Spoiler alert: Alexander beat his ass. So let's take a look. Jens opens up with a queen's pawn opening, and we just get some standard theory stuff up until the fifth move. It is on the sixth move that Alekhine made a note stating that he thinks White's response was slightly inferior, and that so this is a very common pin. This bishop on the knight here, and Alekhine was saying that dislodging the pin using the a pawn, so playing a3, is superior to developing your bishop here, which I found surprising because you figure, okay, well, I'm developing a piece, but Alekhine disagrees. He's saying that when you do he's saying this is more forcing and sort of forces black to either back off or take, whereas this is a little bit more passive and allows black to then sort of close down the position and equalize. So when you're white, you don't want black to equalize. You want to use your initiative as the white pieces having the first move to continue some sort of attack, get something going. That's just a small, not like a huge error. Just Alekhine thinks that a3 is a little bit better. And so now we have e5, d5. Black finally does capture. Nothing really happens until we have this move, queen d7. So the idea behind this, White's knight is on this square, which is, sure, it's an awkward square, but it's actually, before black plays this queen move, White is looking to play knight f5, sort of advances knight. It would be protected by the queen here, so it would not be able to be recaptured right away, and it's not like black wants to induce this weakness. He doesn't want to push this pawn up to kick the knight away because the dark squared bishop has been traded off, and this sort of King's Indian setup with pawns on these three squares is actually inferior without a bishop to be fianchettoed because it induces dark square weaknesses. It's just not something you want to do, especially when the opponent does have his dark square bishop and the queen on the board. It's dangerous for you. So Alex read that very well. He saw White's plan, shut it down. Now you have two pieces guarding this square, and if White decides to come over, well, you retake with the queen, and if he retakes, White can now not recapture the queen because then he'll lose it to your bishop. Just some great foresight. Plus, it gets the queen out of the way. Develops the queen a little bit to a very useful square. Okay, we have some more boring moves. This is all just maneuvering around a little bit until, let's say we have g2 here. So Alekhine's note said this is still very equal. Black's just going to castle, and Alexander is looking to do stuff on the queen's side. White's not castled right now, but it doesn't really matter because black can't get an attack going on the king immediately anyway, so that's okay for right now. And this is the next move that's sort of interesting. So we were guarding this with a queen, but now there's a pawn here, so black says, okay, I have to come up with a different plan. This plan isn't working anymore with this pawn reinforcing this. So I'm going to give up control of this square, and I'm going to look to now go forward with that queenside business. And in order to do that, he drops his queen back because it's opening this square for the knight to re-maneuver to the other side of the board. So pretty interesting. It's this subtle move that, if you weren't looking at rerouting a piece, it's like, oh, why are you moving your queen back? Well, it serves quite a purpose. It's giving scope for this knight here. So on the king side, this knight's not doing anything. Nowhere to go. And so that's exactly what he does. He brings that knight over. And we have some boring stuff. Okay. Move 20. White makes it an accuracy here. Black, as we know, is preparing this queenside attack, and there's a lot of pressure coming on these three files, and white moves this rook away from the A file, which sort of increases the pressure that black has. So it's almost like white just gave away some free pressure. And black takes full advantage. He pushes this pawn. And it's at this point that, all right, we're bringing our queen in. We're going all out. Black is not going to... White's only attack is on the king side right now, and black is by moving this queen over, and he's got he's got his queen here, he's got his knight here, he's got this rook here, he's moving these pawns up. He's committed to this attack now. If he was to sort of fall back and make more defensive maneuvers on the queen side, he would fall behind. His attack would lose initiative. So he's not going to flip flop between both. He's focused on this queenside activity for the rest of the game, and you'll see that how it pays off. So white now realized, oh shit, maybe I should defend the A file and the B file again, but this move is too late. This doesn't even do anything really. Continue, A4. So black realizes that he cannot make this capture. It would be pretty detrimental. We'll actually see if we put this in the engine. Instantly, the engine evaluates black as having a lead because we can continue to push, and we have this coming down. We have this coming down, making room. If this queen moves up, we could swing the rook over, get another piece in the attack. So that no good. Bad news to take that pawn. So white's like, okay, well, if I'm losing on the queen side, maybe I could do something on the king side. And we're going to skip ahead to 28. Yeah, move 28. So you see white makes this funny move. He just moves his rook up 1. And this is actually a good move. It's just something that Alexander made a note of. White sort of has to play this because black has this coming, this A2 move, with an attack on the queen. So preemptive, a little prophylaxis. He just wants to try, because now if he plays A2, well, I could just capture, and then you can't capture back because capture with the queen. And now all of white's pieces are tied up defending. They're all trying to hold down this. They're tied up stopping black's pieces. So it is finally the opportune time to open up the position, sort of break this blockade with a little bit of pawn trading. Whenever you trade pawns, more things open up, and you can't just open up any time because things can fall apart for you. But since black has tied down all of white's pieces, by opening up the position, it can only get better for him. So he plays this move, and white did have a decent response. It's the engine is saying the best move would have been g5. Sort of, white has no chance on the queen side. Black's all the pieces are over here. It's all locked down. Like, he's got it. So white's only option was to do stuff on the king side, and unfortunately for Mr. Jens, he misread the position, and he played f4. Right? Yeah. Well, no. Okay, so f4 was still. It wasn't the mistake yet. f4 was actually okay. He makes this mistake actually on move 31. Here is where he makes a mistake. He makes this capture on the queen side, and that was it. Now the position is open for black to invade with his pieces and mop up. Too much pressure for white to deal with. So we have this knight capture, and we're just going to see we have all these open lines getting to the white king. And after a couple more checks, white doesn't have anything to do. Two more moves. It's right here that this is an interesting little tactic. So black plays here, putting the king in check. He has to respond. The only way. I'm curious to see what this move would have done. Oh, that's that's mate in one. Queen captures h3. Yeah. So if he was to try to move away, then this is checkmate. So he played the only move he could, which is recapturing, but that allows black to capture the bishop and continue with check. So you could see that the engine even evaluates this position for black as almost -10, which is a disgusting, unstoppable lead, especially against a world champion level player like Alexander. So just to wrap it all up and put it together, this was a slow positional game that the strategy was black was trying to do stuff on the king side to begin with, and when it was clear to Alexander that white had the initiative on the king side, black said, okay, now I'm going to shift my focus over to the queen side. That was with this, where was that knight maneuver? Right around here. So he shifted his focus over to the queen side, and he started moving his queen side pawns. He remaneuvered his knight. He got the bishop out of the way. He swung his queen over, and it was equal for a little while, but finally black tied down all of white's pieces. White makes the mistake of capturing this pawn, and black was finally able to invade. So you can't always rush. A lot of players are always like, attack the king, attack the king, attack the king. And you have to wait for the opportune time. So black created the perfect attack by biding his time, improving his pieces, tying down white's pieces, and making an opportune pawn breakthrough. Okay? So thank you all for watching. I hope you can employ these lessons in your games, and I'll see you in the next video.